our group is performing a small short skit to explain the tendering procedure in a quick and easy way. Through this act, you will see how a tender is floated, how contractors submit their bids, and how the final selection is made. Hope we hope you enjoy.
Good morning everyone. But before that, you must be wondering what tender exactly means. Let me tell you a quick definition to make it easy for you. Tendering is a formal process where an organization invites contractor to submit bid for a project, contract or the supply of goods or services. This invitation called a request for tender requires potential bidders to submit proposals that outline price, timeline and plan of action. The tendering process ensures a competitive, transparent, and fair way to select the most suitable supplier based on criteria like price, quality, and capability. Now, let me introduce you to the characters of the act. First, Ajay is the owner of this act. Aryan is the consultant designer. Alpika, I am as the narrator as well as I am the contractor number one. Arshin is the contractor number two. So let's the scene begin. A project, I as the narrator, a project is about to begin and the owner needs the right contractor. And so the tendering process begins.
Me as a owner, I want to start a project, but I want someone to handle the tendering part.
I, as a consultant designer, I can help. First, we prepare the tender documents, BOQs, drawings, material selection, timeline, and terms. Everything must be clear before inviting the contractors.
Yes, please make it in detail so there are no changes applied.
Attention,
Scene 2. Scene 2. Calling for tenders.
attention contractors. Now that documents are ready, I am officially calling for tenders. You may purchase the tender documents.
I'm interested. Here is the fee. I will take the documents.
Me too. Let's participate and give the best.
Scene 3. Submitting tenders. After understanding the requirement, both contractors submit their tenders along with the earnest money deposit.
Submitting my tender with email.
Here is my tender too. All documents are attached. Scene 3. Tender opening meeting.
I will now open the sealed envelope in front of all of you as per procedure to maintain transparency. Alpika has quote for 14 lakh and 20,000 and Arshin has quote for 12 lakh 80,000 which is lower.
According to the tendering rules, the lowest valid quote wins.
Does that mean I am selected?
Yes, congratulations Arshin. You are successful tenderer and will be appointed as contractor for this project.
Signing the agreement. The final step is signing the professional service agreement.
Let's sign agreement number 2.
I look forward to complete the project responsibly.
And with that, the tender procedure officially ends.
Conclusion. And this is how entire tendering process work. From appointing a consultant, calling for tenders, purchasing documents, submission, opening selection, and finally signing the PSA, which stands for Professional Service Agreement. To conclude, tendering is a systematic way to select the right contractor. It ensures fairness, transparency, and proper documentation throughout the process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here.
I'm Manasat Vijay here. I'm Manashri. I'm Chinmay Vatpa.
Good morning, I'm Fatima Khan. So we are here to present about tender notice with its content and examples.
What is tender notice? A tender notice is an official public announcement released by the government department, organization, or a private company to inform the public that a project or requirement is open for bidding. It is used when an organization needs to hire a contractor, purchase material, or obtain services and want multiple companies to completely fare for the job. The tender notice works like an individual. It tells the interested suppliers or contractor what the project is about, what kind of works or goods are required, what standards and qualifications are required to participate. It also mentions the important details such as the last date of submission dates, where to collect the tender documents, the cost of documents if any, and the rules that bidder must follow. The purpose of tender notice is to keep the process fair, transparent, and competitive. Instead of selecting a vendor secretly, the organization opens the opportunity to everyone. This helps get the better price, better quality, and ensures that the project is handled by the capable, eligible companies. Thank you.
Now, there are different types of tender notices with which we should aware about: e-tender, open tender, negotiable tender, limited tender, single tender, and global tender, and so on. So today we are going to present on open tender. This is the most common way to publish the tender through a newspaper. Any qualified contractor can fill the tender form. Basically, this method is primarily used for the government contract, such as large-scale infrastructure projects like road constructions, general procurement of goods and services to ensure maximum fair competitions and opportunities.
Typically, the tender notice in the following format: name, address of the owner, name and location of the work, name and address of designer or consultant, tender fees non-refundable, estimated project cost, estimated completion duration.
Earnest money deposit (EMD), security deposit, dates including sale of tender form, submission and opening of tenders. Also, pre-bid meeting if any, eligibility criteria and additional conditions which are optional. We will now perform a role play to further explain this.
कैसा चल रहा है बैच तुम्हारा कंस्ट्रक्शन का?
अब नया प्रोजेक्ट मिला।
अच्छा। हाय फातिमा, क्या हुआ? तू इतनी परेशान क्यों आ रही है?
मैंने ये टेंडर नोटिस देखा न्यूज़पेपर में और मुझे उसके लिए एंटर करना है, तो मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है ये सब क्या लिखा है इसमें।
हाँ, तेरा तो फर्स्ट टेंडर है ना?
हाँ, इसीलिए कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है।
क्या नहीं समझ रहा है और कहाँ का टेंडर है?
PCMC में रोड कंस्ट्रक्शन का है। एक मिनट दिखा ना, मैं तुझे समझाती हूँ। अच्छा, तो तुझे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर एक कोट ऑफर करता है कॉस्ट ऑफ वर्क पे, विच इज़ एक्सक्लूडिंग मटेरियल टेस्टिंग चार्जेस। तू जो कोट करेगी उस पर GST अलग से लगेगा। कॉर्पोरेशन जो होने वाला है वो तुझे रॉयल्टी डिसाइड करेगा और वो तेरे पे लागू होने वाला है रॉयल्टी। अच्छा, ये तो समझ गया। और इसमें टाइप ऑफ वर्क में दो है, स्ट्रेंथनिंग एंड रीसर्फेसिंग, 2 एरिया का है। और एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट और कॉस्ट ऑफ वर्क तो पता ही है, लेकिन ये रॉयल्टी और बाकी के टर्म्स क्या है?
रॉयल्टी वो है जो हम गवर्नमेंट को पे करते हैं उनके नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज के लिए, और वो यूज़ करने के लिए, जैसे कि सैंड, स्टोन वगैरह, उसके लिए हम फीस देनी पड़ती है, वो रॉयल्टी होती है।
और ये टेस्टिंग चार्जेस में पता ही होगा तुझे, हम जो मटेरियल टेस्ट करते हैं लैब में उसके चार्जेस लगते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल कंक्रीट या फिर मेटल होगा तो उसके चार्जेस लगेंगे। तो यहाँ पे तेरा 2 लाख और 5 लाख दिया गया है।
और ये अर्नेस्ट मनी और सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट क्या है? अर्नेस्ट मनी बहुत सिंपल है, देख समझ। जब हम टेंडर बाय करते हैं तो हमें अश्योरेंस के लिए कुछ पैसे डिपॉजिट करने पड़ते हैं। अगर हमें कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल गया तो फिर वो पैसे आधे रिकवर हो जाएंगे, और अगर हमें वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं मिला तो फिर वो जो पैसे वो रिफंड हो जाएंगे।
हाँ, बराबर है। और सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट टेंडर मिलने पे हमें पे करने होते हैं, जो कि टेंडर खत्म होने के बाद हमें वापस मिल जाते हैं।
तो दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है?
चल ठीक है, मैं तुझे ये समझाती हूँ बहुत इजी वे में। अब समझ, तो मैं एक टेंडर सेलर हूँ और तू मेरे से ना टेंडर ले रही है। यू आर परचेसिंग इट फॉर 300 रुपीज़, ठीक है? तो जो परचेज करेगी, आई लास्ट यू फॉर अमाउंट 3000 रुपीज़। 3000 रुपीज़ जो होंगे वो EMD होगा, जो अश्योर करेगा तो आगे वाले मीटिंग्स में भी आएगी और वो टेंडर फिल भी करके देगी, ठीक है? अगर तुझे ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल गया तो उसके बाद में तुझे 3 लाख समथिंग पे करने पड़ेंगे। वो जो होगा वो सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट में जाएगा। ये अश्योर करेगा कि तू आगे तक काम अच्छे से कर रही है और सिक्योरिटी रहेगी, और जो भी तू काम करेगी वो सेटिस्फैक्टरी लेवल से रहेगा। ये डिफरेंस है, समझा?
और हर एक टेंडर का टाइम लिमिट होता है। यहाँ पे कितना दिया है?
इसमें फर्स्ट के लिए 18 मंथ्स है और दूसरे प्रोजेक्ट के लिए 15 मंथ्स है।
टेंडर शेड्यूल ध्यान में रखना, उस हिसाब से टेंडर सबमिट करना होता है। तो तेरे लिए ऑनलाइन सेल ऑफ टेंडर होगा 12 से 21 तक और लास्ट डेट होगी सबमिशन की 21 को 3 बजे तक।
हाँ, और इसमें प्री बिड मीटिंग की डेट और टाइम दिया है 16 को 3 PM तक। प्लेस का भी एड्रेस दिया है, ओपनिंग ऑफ टेंडर का डेट है। पर ये प्री बिड मीटिंग में होता क्या है?
देख, प्री बिड मीटिंग में क्या होता है, सारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स के लिए होती है मीटिंग, जहाँ पे उनको जो डाउट्स हो, क्वेश्चंस हो, जो भी क्लैरिफिकेशंस करने हो, तो वो वहाँ पे किया जाता है।
अच्छा, यस, ठीक है, अभी समझा। और लास्ट में जो दिया है ना तुझे, वहाँ पे तुझे सिर्फ वो टेंडर फिल करके उस 21 को सबमिट करना उस ईमेल। थैंक यू सो मच गाइस तुम्हारी हेल्प के लिए। होप मुझे टेंडर मिल जाए।
All the best.
बाय।
Good morning, sir. My name is Karthik Pujari.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Kanak Sonimende.
Good morning, sir. My name is Gayatri Sunil Bharat.
We are going to perform a small skit to explain what EMD is and its importance. So, shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay. So, scene 1. A company is planning to renovate its office interior. The owner, Kanak, and the designer, Karthik, they are preparing the tender documents.
Our project cost is around 10 lakh. We are issuing a tender. What should we keep as the EMD?
Usually, EMD ranges from 1% to 2% of the project value. So, let's keep 2%, which is 20,000, as the earnest money deposit. This will ensure कि सिर्फ serious bidders ही apply करें.
Perfect. No EMD, no tender. बिल्कुल strict रहना पड़ेगा.
Scene 2. The tenderers arrive to submit the tenders. The tender is released and the contractors start arriving to submit their bids.
Next, tenderer 1.
Good morning, sir. My technical bid, POQ, and the EMD receipt. पूरे 20 हैं.
Perfect. Your tender is valid. EMD shows that you are serious, committed, and financially awake.
Hello, this is this is my tender, but EMD नहीं लाई हूँ. Next time मैं पक्का दे दूँगी.
I'm sorry, but no EMD means no tender opening. Rules are rules.
अरे पर EMD इतना इम्पोर्टेंट क्यों है? मैं लोन नहीं मांग रही हूँ.
EMD means earnest money deposit. It is a refundable amount that is submitted with the tender. It ensures that only genuine bidders participate. Bidders don't run away after winning. Fair and transparent tendering. Client is also protected, and no U-turn contractors like you are allowed. Basically, EMD says पहले commitment दिखाओ, फिर contract मिलेगा.
So is it like a commitment fee?
Exactly. नहीं तो अलग लोग टेंडर सबमिट करके गायब हो जाते हैं, जैसे कि सैलरी आने के बाद पैसा खत्म हो जाता है.
Scene 5. Tender opening day. The submission deadline closes. The owner and designer sit to open the tenders.
So Karan has submitted all the documents plus EMD. Valid bidder. Well done.
Great. Her bid is accepted and EMD refunds are also given to them.
No. All unsuccessful bidders get their EMD refunded, like Gayatri, without interest. हम बैंक नहीं है भाई.
And the winning bidder's EMD becomes security deposit until the project ends, right?
Yes. So if the winner refuses to start the work, EMD is forfeited. मतलब पैसा गया. Bye bye.
So EMD stops careless people like me.
Final closing. So EMD, that is earnest money deposit, is a small amount that plays a very big role in interior tendering.
It keeps the process transparent, honest, and hassle-free.
And ensures only serious, responsible and contractor participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as we know that tender is a formal process that is used by corporate or government bodies and organizations to invite different bidders for an interior designer or construction work. It ensures a transparent competitive environment where contractors or design can submit their proposals so that the owner and the designer can compare with all the bidders, with all the bids. So this system helps the client select the most capable bidder based on cost, quality, experience and technical competence.
Okay, now what is EMD? So earnest money deposit is a refundable security amount that a bidder must submit along with the tender. It acts as a financial assurance that the bidder is serious and committed to the project. Usually the EMD ranges from 1 to 3% of the estimated project cost. Without EMD, most tenders are considered invalid.
Purpose of EMD. The main purpose of EMD is to ensure that only genuine and committed bidders participate in the tender process. It prevents irresponsible bidding and protects the client from financial risk. If a bidder withdraws or does not honor the tender terms, EMD promotes fairness, transparency, accountability and throughout the bidding process.
How EMD works. Interior design tender requires bidder to submit EMD. Usually, it is 1 to 2% of estimated project cost, paid through DD, bank guarantee or cash. Refunded to unsuccessful bidders after tender evaluation.
So this means basically tender is circulated among the bidders, and suppose the amount is 1 crore, then usually EMD is 1 or 2% of the amount, which is 1 crore, considering the example. So all the tenderers, all the contractors pay the EMD amount, and once one contractor is finalized, who becomes the tenderer, the EMD is kept until the
Project ends.
ends.
The consequences of not submitting EMD. So the bid gets rejected automatically because the tenders are not valid without EMD. The contractor loses their chance to participate and they are seen as unprofessional by the clients.
So the summary is that EMD secures the bidding process. Mandatory in most interior design tenders, refunded and protects both the client and the contractor in the project.
मतलब client भी खुश, designer भी खुश, and contractor भी खुश. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Maria and my roll number is 20.
Good morning, sir. My name is Mokshini Oswal and my roll number is 23.
Good morning, sir. My name is Mansi Gokul and my roll number is 2.
Good morning, sir. My name is Mansi Kothari and my roll number is 19.
Understand this better. Security deposit. We have done a sketch, so we're gonna do it. Okay. So, bro, listen. My contractor friend literally asked me to lend him some money for security deposit. I don't understand anything. Why are they taking this? Okay, chill. I'll explain it properly. Actually, I'll show you a small play in which a contractor, a designer, and a client are involved. So, let's just watch. So, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Before we begin with the project, we need to discuss about the security deposit. It ensures accountability and protects the client's interest. Wait, what even is a security deposit? Shh. They're explaining. Listen.
Ma'am, I want clarity in this. I want this with an exact numbers. And how much do I hold this in a security?
Sure, ma'am. The project value is 10 lakhs. So the security deposit you have to pay is 5%. That is 50,000. Bro, 50,000? My soul left my body. Relax. He doesn't pay it all at once.
Oh, do I have to pay the entire 50,000 right now? Because honestly, I'm already managing my material, labor, advanced tools, etc. So my budget is tight.
Don't worry, you are not asking everything at once. But the security is important. This ensures that you will complete your work properly.
Exactly. And actually, you have already paid a part of it before only.
Oh, when did I pay?
When you submitted the tender, your EMD was 2%, that was 20,000. That becomes a security deposit once you win the tender. Wait, what? What is even a EMD? Earliest money deposit, like a token to show you are serious about the tender.
Yes, it proves that you won't run away after getting selected.
Okay, so my 20,000 is already counted. So how much do I need to pay more?
The remaining 30,000 after adding EMD plus
plus remaining. It becomes full 50,000. That is the security deposit.
Okay, so basically I have paid 20,000 and now I have to pay more 30,000. So total comes up to 50,000.
Correct.
Ah, now it makes sense.
See, I told you.
Okay, one more question. When do I get my 50,000 back? You will get it back after you finish everything properly. The whole amount until you check the quality of the work.
We release the security deposit when work is complete, no defects are found, all the measurements are verified, and all the bills are clear.
Okay, fair enough. And what if there's some defect, small defect like a paint cracking or a loose hinge?
If you fix it, no issue. But if you don't fix it during the defect liability period, that is 6 to 12 months, then correction cost is taken from the security deposit.
Okay, fair enough. I always do my work properly, so I'll get my 50,000 back. Yes, the security deposit is just a safety net. If you work well, it comes back to you 100%.
That's the purpose. Protection for client and responsibility for the contractor.
Bro, now I get it. It's like a guarantee money.
Exactly. If contractor works well, he gets it done. If not, the client uses for repair. This skit explained everything so well. Thank you. I know. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Okay, so basically what I understood by this skit is that about a new term which is a security deposit. Security deposit is a deposit which a contractor pays to the client to make sure that every work is done properly and to meet the tender terms and conditions of how it is. So let's just go through one presentation quickly of how much we understood of the security deposit. Okay, so we understood what security deposit is the money the contractor gives to the client to ensure the work will be done properly as per the tender terms. Next is why is it needed? Ensures commitment, protects client and maintains quality control and helps avoid any delays and of course your defect liability period. The next is, through the skit I understood pretty well, there is a contractor involved, there is a client involved and there is a designer involved. The next is when is it taken and how it is returned. Taken before the work begins and returned after defect liability period. And case study, through the case study we understood that our designer had the budget or the client had the budget of 10 lakhs and then the contractor paid 50,000, EMD was 20,000 and security deposit equal to 30,000. And security deposit comes through the stages that we explained through a skit pretty well. And summary of this is just a summary to understand the contractor about accountability, quality, client protection and discipline in project execution. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
Attention fund. So we will be taking you through the concept of these funds. To begin with, I would like to introduce my team with a respective role. Myself Nirali and I am the host.
Myself Neelam Chaudhary and I am acting as an accountant.
My name is Nihal Redle and I am acting as an engineer.
Myself Ojas Silpore and I am acting contractor.
Myself Pooja Gaikwad, I am acting as a client.
So the first scene opens where the host walks to the center.
Good morning and welcome to Tender Talks with Nirali. Today's episode is titled as Money To Bolega, Retention versus Mobilization Fund. Because we all know construction में cement से ज़्यादा तो confusion होता है. So let's call our first guest, the man who always wants money before starting a work, contractor Ojas.
Hello madam, I am ready for the interview. बस एक बात है, do you give mobilization advance here also?
Sir, this is a talk show, not a tender.
In my life, everything is tender only.
Okay, Mr. Ojas, tell the audience why do contractor need mobilization fund?
मैडम, जब प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट होता है, लेबर पैसा मांगता है, मशीन डीजल मांगता है, सप्लायर EMI मांगता है और घर पे वाइफ शॉपिंग. But seriously, we need money at beginning to mobilize manpower, materials and machinery. Without mobilization fund, project start ही नहीं होता है.
So, sir, how much mobilization do you normally request?
I request 10%.
The client enters.
So please welcome Ms. Pooja.
Hello everyone. Before Moses asks again, yes, we give mobilization fund, but only 5 to 10%.
Ma'am, do you
But-
doubt us?
No, we don't doubt you, but we doubt your commitment after giving money.
So basically, mobilization advance is given before work to help the contractor to begin smoothly. But what happens later? Why do client cut money from bill? The engineer enters. Let's welcome engineer Nihal, जिनका explanation Google से भी clear होता है.
Hello. The retention amount is basically safety deposit. It gives you usually 10% of from current from every running bill.
But sir, why do you keep cutting my bill? I feel like I'm giving pocket money to the client.
No, sir. Retention amount ensures that work should be done completely. Defects should not be appear, and if appears, you need to fix it. So basically, retention amount contains quality control, safety, and accountability.
But when do you release it?
50% after project completion and 50% after defect liability period, which is 6 months to 1 year.
Now accountant enters.
मैं हूँ नीलम और मैं हूँ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर की दुश्मन और क्लाइंट की दोस्त.
Yes, you are the result. I can't sleep peacefully.
अरे सर, I just do my calculations. Let me show you through one example. So basically, here is the contract cost, which is basically 10 lakh. So for finding mobilization fund, which is basically taking the 5% of contract cost. So taking the 5% of contract cost, that is 10 lakh, it comes to 50,000. So next is to find out retention bill. First we need to find out the interim bill. So basically what interim bill is, it is the 15% of the contract cost, which is of 10 lakh, which comes to 1,50,000. And then retention amount is taken as the 10% of the interim bill, which basically comes to 15,000. So in short, I would like to cover all the points that we have told. So first, mobilization is basically given at project start. Secondly, it helps the contractor begin work. It needs bank guarantee and it's recovered slowly from bills. Retention amount is basically deducted from every bill. It ensures quality and defect correction, and it is released in 2 stages. First, after 50% completion of work, and then after the defect liability period.
I hope now we are clear with our funds, because without these construction projects are messed, stressed and progressless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Today our topic is 3 envelope method of tender opening. So let me explain what is 3 envelope method. In 3 envelope method, which is also another 2-part envelope, 2-part tender. In this we have 3 envelopes. In first envelope we have eligibility document and technical bid. In second we have financial bid or BOQ. And both the envelopes which are in the master envelope, which is the third envelope. The process of this is, we will first open the third envelope, in which we have both first and second envelope. Then we will open the envelope number 1, which is eligibility documents and technical bid. After it is qualified, then only we will open the second envelope. If not, then we will reject it. Then, if it is qualified, we will open the second envelope, in which we have financial bid or BOQ. So let us understand this through a skit.
So thank you, Saishri. As Saishri explained us what is 3 envelope method, we all are here for renovation of Ferguson College's Media Center. Next. So the key project details for this is, we have to do the renovation of Media Center. The estimated budget for this project is rupees 35 lakhs, and the time period for this will be 45 days, and all the documents should have the detailed material specifications. So let's begin with the tender opening procedure. So let's open envelope number 1 by Sakina Godrawala, SG Interior Solutions.
number 1, which will have technical and eligibility documents. I would like Sakina to start with her documents, that is eligibility and technical documents.
I have 6 years of experience and I have conducted 3 similar projects, and I am willing to complete the entire project in the given timeline of 45 days. I have also submitted all the required documents like PAN, MSME registration and GST documents. I have also shown my bank statement of rupees 15 lakh rupees. So I'm really looking forward for this project.
Okay. As per the criteria, Sakina Godrawala is qualified for the for the financial bid or BOQ. So I request Renuka Khire from RK Design to open her envelope number 1. As Renuka Khire, RK Designs and Concepts is our second bidder. We would like her to explain her.
So I have 7 years of experience. I have submitted all my GST, MSME certificates while submitting the Canva. And I have done 2 similar projects. And my annual turnover is 72 lakh for last year. And I am willing to complete the work in 45 days timeline with all the specification of materials provided by the designer.
Even our bidder number 2 is qualified as per the criteria. Now let's open our next bidder, that is Samdasha Nairwani, SN Design Studio. Samdasha Nairwani, SN Interior Hub. This will be our last bidder, so I would like you to explain about your item.
So I have 1 year of experience. I have completed one small project, but I have not submitted my GST certificate and I don't have any bank solvency proof, as well as my MSME registration is not done yet. But I assure you that I will be completing my project in given timeline with good quality of material, that too on a budget.
I'm sorry, Samdasha, you don't meet the minimum eligibility criteria of 3 years and the mandatory documents which were expected, so you are disqualified at this stage. So now let us open the next envelope of our qualified bidders. So I would like to open Sakina Godrawala's envelope number 2, which will have financial bid and BOQ.
According to the material specified and the timeline and considering everything, my final project cost is rupees 32 lakh 78,500 rupees for this entire media center's renovation, including the electrification, plumbing and all the necessary services required.
Thank you. Thank you, Sakina. Now let's open Renuka Khire's financial BOQ envelope. I would like Renuka to explain about her document.
So according to all design specification provided by the design consultant, I have quoted the final estimated budget of 34 lakh 19,000 rupees. So I will complete that work within time.
Okay, sir.
Thank you both of you. Now, next. After evaluation of both the BOQs, I would like to declare Sakina Godrawala as the selected contractor for the media center renovation with the lowest quality bid of 32,78,500 rupees. Congratulations, Sakina.
This demonstrates why the three envelope method is crucial. Even if Sandisha has quoted the lower, which she did for 29 lakhs 20,000, she couldn't be selected because she failed in eligibility document criteria. Quality and reliability come before the price.
Exactly. The system ensures we get capable, qualified contractors, not just the cheapest bid. Congratulations, Sakina. Meeting next week to begin the work. Thank you.
Today we are gonna discuss about the content of submission envelope. What is submission envelope? Submission envelope is also known as technical bid envelope. Contains the documents proving the firm's eligibility. No pricing is included in this envelope. The envelope ensures only the capable bidders' qualifications. We have today we are gonna discuss about the three envelope method, which is also known as two-part tendering. In this tendering process, the three envelope method, three steps are there, where the first envelope, which is the sealed. So step 1, the outer envelope, that is envelope number 3 is opened. Then step 2, the envelope number 1, which is the submission envelope and technical envelope is opened. The documents like forwarding letters means the tendering forms, then all the drawings of premises, then the firm registration documents, shop act license and partnership deeds are also included in this submission envelope. Then the power of attorney for the contracting signing, all the signed documents of the eligible firms and the contractors are included in this envelope. Then the income and the services tax clearance certificate is also included. Then the balance sheet at the last is also included in this submission. To be continued, this envelope also includes the list and the cost of all the material, not material but documents of past and ongoing projects of the contractor. Means what exactly the history of that contractor's work is there. Then the list of manpower and the agencies that is included under the contractor. Then the resources allocations and the bar chart showcasing the progress plan. These are included in the submission envelope. So now we are gonna add the skit which we have prepared.
So myself Karthik Saraf, I will be the narrator for this skit and I will introduce you with our team members and their characters they are playing. Sarthak will be the narrator or the guide. Sanu will be the client or tender issuing authority. Sanika will be the contractor firm representative. Sarika will be the document checking officer and Saili will be the technical team member. So let's start. Sarthak, I will be the narrator. Today our group will demonstrate how envelope number 1, also known as the technical bid envelope, is submitted during the tendering process in an interior designing project.
Sanu, also client tender issuing authority. Good morning, please submit your envelope number 1 for technical evaluation.
Sanika, contractor representative. Good morning, ma'am. Here is our envelope number 1 containing all required documents.
Document officer, let me start verifying. First we have the form, the envelope. First we have the form of tender. First we have the form of tender signed and the confirming acceptance of all terms and conditions in it.
Yes, ma'am.
It is signed by our authorized partner. You will find it on the top. Good. Next, we require your firm registration documents and the power of attorney for the signatory. Both are attached. Our shop act registration and authorization letter are included. What about the financial documents, the DD for EMD and tender fees, and your income tax GST clearance certificate? Yes, ma'am. We have included both demand drafts and our latest tax clearance certificates. Also, our last 3 years balance sheets are attached.
These documents prove the firm's financial stability and seriousness about the participation in the tender.
We have also included our past project photos, a list of our technical and instrument administrative team, and a proposed bar chart showing how we plan to complete the project on schedule.
Everything looks complete and properly documented. Okay, so based on the documents, your firm qualifies the technical. We are pleased to inform you that your envelope number 1 is accepted. You may now proceed to the financial bid, envelope number 2 stage. Thank you, ma'am. We look forward to the next step.
And this is how envelope number 1 ensures that only experienced and eligible, capable firms are allowed to move forward to the price bidding stage. Thank you. We also have an envelope in which we have the documents necessary, and each document has the contents which are necessary for the particular document.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Our topic for this presentation is contents of finance bid, that is price bid, including item rate tender. So I'll introduce the topic, what is tendering. Tendering is a process where government bodies or companies or any other personalities invite different tenderers or suppliers, invite their bids and select them as contractor to complete and execute their project in the given time. Tendering projects can include engineering projects, architectural projects or interior projects. In tendering, there are mainly 2 agreements. First agreement is between owner and the designer, and the second agreement is between the owner and the contractor. In short, in tendering, the process is like owner or BOD will select the designer will prepare the drawings or the documents, specification and estimations. Then they will invite the bids in which they will prepare an abstract sheet in which rate column and total cost column will be empty, and the tenderers will fill the form and submit it. In the meeting, the lowest rates tenderer will be given the contract. So I'll hand over it to Sarvam for explaining what is item rate tender.
What is item rate tender? It is a type of tender where detailed estimation is offered by tenderer. Designer provides an abstract sheet where all items quantity are mentioned. Tenderer fills rate and total amount column. Payment is made according to the actual quantity of work executed and the rate quoted by the tenderer.
So advantages and challenges. Advantages: transparent and fair, provides detailed cost breakup, flexible in quantity changes, easy to track payment and progress, encourage fair price. Now about challenges. Time consuming evaluation, rate fluctuation after affected total cost. Constructions may quote very low rate, require continuous supervision.
What is finance bid? Finance bid is also called as a price bid. Is a part of a tender where contractor clearly states the total cost of the project by giving the item-wise rates, quantities, labor cost, overhead, profit, and taxes. It helps the client compare the price of the different bidders and select
the lowest and the most reasonable bidder. In this stage, only the cost is evaluated, unlike the technical bid, which checks quantity and capability. Finance bid may also include the percentage system, where contractor quotes above, below, or at per with the estimated cost. Overall, the finance bid ensures transparency and the fair pricing of the project.
To explain our topic better, we'll do a role play. This scene is of a meeting where the designer is comparing offers of tenderers for the client. Here, Srishti Nikaja is client, Srishti Kadwal is interior designer, Siddhi Zonde and Shravani Kare are tenderers.
I want to renovate my office interior to get best proposal. I have issued the tender notice and we will begin our meeting now.
As a designer, I have prepared BOQ where all items, its description and their quantities are given in abstract sheet, like gypsum, false ceiling, painting, electrical points, wall paneling, flooring, etc.
This type of tender is item rate tender, where payment is made according to the actual quantity of work executed and the rate quoted by the tenderer. Once all contractors submit their bids, the finance bids are open, the total of each bid is calculated and compared.
I have quoted for false ceiling 110 per square feet for 500 square feet, for electrical point rupees 1,300 per point for 30 points, for wall paneling rupees 230 per square feet for 1,000 square feet, for painting rupees 40 per square feet for 1,000 square feet, for flooring rupees 200 per square feet for 500 square feet, which the total cost will be rupees 4,065,000.
I have quoted for false ceiling rupees 120 per square feet for 500 square feet. For electrical points, rupees 1,500 per point for 30 points. For wall paneling, rupees 250 per square feet for 1,000 square feet. For painting, rupees 45 rupees per square feet for 1,000 square feet. For flooring, rupees 220 per square feet for 500 per square feet. The total estimated cost of the project is 5,10,000 rupees.
Now the designer will compare finance bids of all tenderers and select the tenderer who has quoted lowest rates.
After reviewing all bids, I found that tenderer A has provided the lowest rates within the given quantities and specification. Hence, the project goes to tenderer A.
Thank you. I will ensure that work will be done as per given specification, details and drawing.
This process helps maintain transparency, fair competition and ensures the client gets the best value for money. It's one of the most commonly used tendering methods in the interior industry because it provides both flexibility and accuracy in costing. And that's how a finance bid or price bid works, through an item rate tender in interior designing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. So our topic is cost plus percentage fees with bonus and penalty clauses. Welcome to our role play 40 lakhs ka game, the big bungalow renovation. This story follows a renovation project with a fixed estimated cost of 40 lakhs handled under a cost plus percentage fee contract that includes bonuses for savings and penalties for overruns. It will explain in 3 cases. So our characters are: I am narrator,
I am project manager,
I am quality inspector,
I am the client, I am the accountant,
and Virat is contractor. So now स्वागत है आप सबका इस महाबंगलो रिनोवेशन कहानी में, जिसका बजट है 40 lakhs और पेशेंस लेवल बस दुआ पर चल रहा है.
विराट तुम फिर लेट, साइड भी लेट, मीटर भी लेट.
मैम ट्रैफिक था और ज़रा बिल्डर का डॉग मेरे पीछे पड़ा था।
अब तुम शुरू ही मत करो।
Ma'am, let us start the discussion before Virat finds another excuse.
और इसी तरह इमोशनल वार्म अप के साथ हम इंटर करते हैं 40 lakhs का गेम. नाउ केस नंबर 1, एक्चुअल कॉस्ट इज इक्वल्स टू एस्टिमेटेड कॉस्ट. A rare peaceful moment in Bangalore renovation history.
So estimated cost was 40 lakhs. Before I open page 2, कोई धमाका तो नहीं?
No धमाका मैम, actual cost is 40 lakhs.
That's it?
We maintained the plan strictly. Daily logs, verified purchases, timeline checks. Everything went smooth.
So the fee calculation goes like 10% of 40 lakhs, which is 4 lakhs.
I checked alignment, finishing, polish, materials, everything matches the discount.
मैम ऑनेस्टली इस प्रोजेक्ट में विराट ने बजट एंड शेड्यूलिंग इतना स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो किया है कि शायद मुझे लगा उसने घर पे भी चार्ट लगाया था.
मुझे लगता है मुझे ये मोमेंट फ्रेम करना चाहिए. बंगलोर रेनोवेशन विद नो सरप्राइजेस.
मैम कभी कभी हम भी अच्छे काम कर लेते हैं.
कभी कभी नोटेड.
And with the miracle level smooth budget, at this point even Excel sheets would be smiling. Zero variation, unbelievable. Case 1 ends with peace. Now case 2, actual cost is equals to less than estimated cost. Then actual cost is 36 lakhs. The moment every client dream of hearing the word cost saving in a renovation is as rare as finding an empty Mumbai local train.
Tanisha ma'am, I have amazing news today.
Amazing? Are you sure? Bangalore renovations usually horror trailer होती है.
No ma'am, this is actually good. Actual cost came to 36 lakhs.
What? Under budget? विराट तुम ठीक तो हो? ये मिराकल कैसे हुआ?
मैम इस बार मटेरियल सोर्सिंग परफेक्ट, नो वेस्टेज, लेबर ऑप्टिमाइजेशन. बेसिकली हम प्रोफेशनल भी हो सकते हैं.
इस लाइन को रिकॉर्ड कर देती हूँ मैं.
Breakdown: savings 4 lakh, bonus 1 lakh at 25%, contractor fees 3,60,000. The total goes up to 4,60,000.
Honestly, the bonus is well deserved. Quality बिल्कुल top notch थी. Every check I did, structure, finishing, detailing, everything passed within the range.
विराट, चाय एंड समोसा मेरी तरफ से. एक्चुअल चाय, मिल्क मोर देन वाटर.
मैम दिस चाय मीन्स मोर देन द बोनस.
Virat, if you are getting a bonus, then I should get half bonus too because I have managed the team, the schedule and the materials.
Yes, we will think about that. Let me enjoy the trip.
And for the first time ever, a Bangalore renovation ends with a smile and savings. Now, case 3. Actual cost is more than estimated cost. Cost overrun, penalty. Here, actual cost is 46 lakhs. Contractor का सबसे बड़ा डर cost overrun. The calm before the financial storm. This is where every contractor silently prays and every client mentally checks their bank balance.
Ma'am, we need to discuss something important.
मुझे पता था. गुड न्यूज़ के बाद यूनिवर्स बैलेंस मांगता ही है. बोलो.
Actual cost reach 46 lakhs.
6 lakhs एक्स्ट्रा. विराट बंगलो बना है या ताजमहल का एक्सटेंशन?
No ma'am, no. There was a leakage behind the false ceiling. When we opened it, there was some wastage of material.
If ignored next year, major repair होता.
पानी और बजट दोनों आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल.
Excess amount 6 lakhs, penalty 1,50,000 at 25%, but maximum penalty goes up to 1,32,000 at 33%. So the penalty cost is 4 lakh minus 1,50,000, which is 2,50,000.
Tanisha ma'am, the extension should not happen, but the extra cost has been wasteful. The work quality is solid and the repair will be essential.
Fair enough.
So my payment 4 lakh minus 1,50,000 is 2,50,000.
Virat, movie plan cancel.
Movie cancel, popcorn cancel, life cancel.
Next time no surprises.
मैं भी सरप्राइज से डरने लगा हूँ.
And thus ends case 3. The reality check of Bangalore renovation. Moral of the story: surprises are good for design, not for budget. Therefore, the final conclusion of this is the contractor gets a guaranteed fees. Bonuses motivate better efficiency. Penalties helps control overspendings. Clear clauses protect the client, and transparency builds trust. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.